Imagine a time before iPhones, before plastic, and before modern warfare turned everything into efficient, blocky machines. We are talking about the Belle Époque, the beautiful era, around the year 1900. It was a time when engineers didn't just build machines, they sculpted them. If you look at a modern pistol, like a Glock, it looks like a brick. It works, but it has no soul. But look at this. This is the Steyr Mannlicher Model 1905. It doesn't look like a weapon of war. It looks like something a gentleman would carry while traveling to the moon in a Jules Verne novel. It has curves. It has elegance. It looks like a piece of fine jewelry that just happens to shoot bullets. Today, we are going to take a deep dive into this mechanical masterpiece. We are going to strip away the steel and look inside. And don't worry if you aren't a gun expert. I'm going to explain this so simply that even your grandmother will understand how it works. And to do that, we are using the incredible X-ray power of the game world of guns. Gun disassembly, which lets us see things that are usually hidden forever. To understand this machine, you have to understand the man who made it, Count Ferdinand von Mannlicher. Mannlicher wasn't just a gunsmith banging on metal in a shed. He was a high-level railroad engineer. Why does that matter? Because railroad engineers think about systems. They think about how huge, heavy parts move together with perfect timing. When he turned his attention to guns, he didn't just make them. He engineered them like miniature locomotives. Sadly, the Model 1905 was his swan song, his final masterpiece. He died in 1904, just before this gun became famous. It was the final evolution of his dream to make the perfect automatic pistol. Let's talk about that shape. Why does it look so weird compared to a modern gun? Pick up a modern pistol, and the handle is thick and blocky. That's because, inside the handle, there is a detachable box full of bullets, the magazine. It's like stuffing a deck of cards into the handle of a hammer. The handle has to be fat. But Mannlicher did something different. He didn't put the box of bullets in the handle. He put the bullets inside the gun, in front of the trigger, just like in a bolt-action hunting rifle. Because the handle is empty, it doesn't need to be a box. It can be a slender, curved piece of wood that fits the human hand perfectly. Collectors often call this the steak knife grip because it feels as slim and natural as holding a piece of fine cutlery. When you hold it, it doesn't feel like you are holding a tool. It feels like an extension of your arm. Now, we get to the mechanical part. And I promise this will be easy. When you fire a gun, an explosion happens. That explosion wants to push the bullet forward out of the barrel, but it also wants to push the back of the gun, the slide, backwards into your face. Newton's third law: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In a small gun, like a little .22, you can just use a heavy spring to hold the slide shut. That's called blowback. It's like holding a door shut against the wind. If the spring is strong enough, the door stays closed. But the Mannlicher M1905 shoots a powerful bullet, the 7.63 mm Mannlicher. It's too strong for a simple spring. If you just use a spring, the gun would have to be incredibly heavy, or the spring would be so stiff you couldn't pull it back. So, Mannlicher invented something brilliant. It's called the hesitation lock or delayed blowback. Imagine you are trying to push open a heavy door, but someone has wedged a rubber doorstop underneath it. When you push the door, it doesn't open immediately. You have to push hard to overcome the friction of that doorstop dragging on the floor. That split second of struggle, that hesitation, is the key. In the M1905, as we can see in the World of Guns animation, there is a special cam or wedge inside. When the gun fires, the slide wants to fly back instantly. But it can't. It has to drag itself over this mechanical speed bump first. This creates friction. That tiny fraction of a second of friction slows the slide down just enough. By the time the slide overcomes the speed bump and flies back to eject the empty shell, the bullet has already left the barrel, and the dangerous pressure is gone. It's a trick of physics. It doesn't lock the door, it just makes the door really hard to open for a millisecond. The result? A gun that shoots a powerful bullet, but has a very soft, smooth recoil. It doesn't kick like a mule, it pushes like a firm handshake. Since you can't just swap out a magazine like in a video game, how do you load it? You use stripper clips. This is old school. You lock the slide back, and the top of the gun is completely open, like a convertible car. You take a metal strip holding 10 bullets, place it in the guide, and push the bullets down into the gun with your thumb. Zip. Then you pull the clip out and throw it away. It's slower than a modern reload, but there's something incredibly satisfying about it. It feels mechanical and precise. So, who used this beautiful machine? You might think it was used by Austrian dukes or German generals. And some were. But the biggest user of this gun was actually Argentina. In 1905, the Argentine army wanted the best technology in the world. They looked at this Austrian masterpiece and said, "We'll take 10,000 of them." If you find one of these guns in a museum today, look at the right side. You might see a scar in the metal, a weird ground-down patch. That is a piece of history. Originally, these guns had the beautiful coat of arms of Argentina engraved there. But when Argentina sold them decades later, they ground the crests off to demilitarize them. It's a tragic scar on a beautiful face. But the story gets crazier. These guns ended up in the Chaco War in the 1930s. This was a brutal war between Bolivia and Paraguay in a region called the Green Hell, a nightmare of swamps, heat, and mosquitoes. Imagine this. Soldiers slogging through a muddy green hell, holding this elegant, precision-engineered Austrian pistol that looks like it belongs in an opera house. It was a clash of two worlds. The gun was accurate and reliable, but it was like taking a Rolex watch into a mud wrestling fight. This is why I love World of Guns. Most of these pistols are now 120 years old. If you try to take one apart in real life, you risk breaking a spring that hasn't been made since the Titanic sank. It's terrifying. But in the game, we can activate X-ray mode. We can make the steel transparent. We can slow down time. We can watch that hesitation lock engage and disengage 1,000 times. We can see the hammer, which is weirdly laid flat at a 45-degree angle to save space, cock back, and strike. We can see the genius of Steyr Mannlicher without risking a piece of history. The Mannlicher M1905 is a dead end in evolution. The world moved on to detachable magazines and cheaper, blockier guns. It is a creature from a different time, a mechanical aristocrat that values style and precision over mass production. It is intricate, it is beautiful, and thanks to digital preservation, we can still enjoy its clockwork heartbeat today. If you enjoyed this look inside history, please like and subscribe, and check out World of Guns to explore these machines yourself. Thanks for watching.